Hello, everyone. I'm Captain Logan, and joining me as always is Austin the Day Ghost. It's time for a ReQuest commentary. 2 weeks in a row, we just happen to have commentary requests at the $30 tier, and tonight we are going to tackle a blaxploitation movie from the mid-'70s called Foxy Brown. One of, if not... I guess I wouldn't say this is like the most popular of that genre, Austin, but it's up there, right? It's probably in like the top five.
Yeah, I'd say it's definitely up there. And it's one of those ones that I think kind of breaks out of that, and you see a lot of inspiration in other things.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's kind of all the exploitations, right? Like it's blaxploitation, it's sexploitation, it's that whole milieu, really.
Mhm. Yeah, I mean, I think there's probably like a Venn diagram with a lot of that stuff.
And it's like it's upper echelon of like B action, if you can even call it a B movie at the time, because like it's lower budget, but it's like really competently and professionally made. Like I'm watching this and I'm going, oh, this is what a bunch of underground terrible B movies like think they are.
Mhm.
Like a lot of the
not.
stuff you see from this era, and especially in the early mid '80s on Best of the Worst, like they're trying to be this or something like it.
Yeah, exactly. Dan Stone also mentions Shaft and Superfly. Those are definitely up there too, of course.
Yeah, and this is completely out of my wheelhouse. I could not be less of the right person to talk about this, but it's a request, and it's always about, or often anyway, about getting me out of my comfort zone. So I'm not really qualified to talk about this, much less for the whole hour and a half as we're looking at it. But I'm gonna do my level best. I watched it. I read up a little bit on this in preparation, as I always do, and I'll see if I've got to lean on Austin more, or if he's in the same boat I am. Austin, how much of this kind of stuff have you watched? Because I know you like more like I can't even say this is underground, of course. I mean, this is a pretty like mainstream sort of cult classic now, but but I know you like more off the beaten path, like oddball kinds of movies than I do.
No, I mean, I love B movies. I haven't seen a ton of blaxploitation. It's always like a subgenre I've wanted to check out more and more because it does seem like it would be my thing.
Mm-hmm.
And I definitely enjoyed this. I will say I had like a bit of a headache while watching it, so I'm like probably gonna be a little fuzzy on some details, but I had a great time watching it, and I'm excited to watch it with you. What was I gonna say outside of that? Yeah, so I guess like not a ton.
So
But
so you just had a headache, or did the movie for some reason give you a headache? Like,
no, I just got home and like suddenly I was like, oh man, I have like a big headache, and then I started the movie and just
oh
kind of
no. Well, thanks for
yeah.
powering
So you
through
can
it.
blame it on the Minecraft movie if you want, but I don't think that's what it
I
was.
can't believe you had to go to that.
Yeah.
For some, hold on one second here. For some reason, you have blanked out on my screen, Austin, and I don't know what that's
Oh
about.
no.
Oh, there you are. Oh, weird. Sorry, I've got to move things around here. So if I've never had this happen. If I have my browser in front of Discord with you on it, and I try to watch the movie, it blinks you out.
Oh, that's weird.
Because I think it thinks it's picking up on the movie and is trying to avoid copyright things. That's what I think is happening. Although that doesn't
Yeah, I
make a
guess
whole lot
so.
of sense because I'm not screen sharing. I'm not connected to my OBS is not connected to my Chrome right now. I don't really understand what's happening with that. It's very strange. Anyway, this is not interesting inside baseball at all.
And you can kick me out if you need to off the screen.
That'd be really awkward though, because then people will just be looking at me and like a black square.
I mean, you can delete my square. That's fine.
Oh, okay, okay. I'm not gonna do that though, Austin, because then I'll be very self-conscious. It'll just be me. Let me pop my chat
Oh, I
out
remembered what I
here.
was gonna say
Go
too.
right ahead.
No, I was going to add to like with history with this stuff. 2019, the Dolomite is my name. The biopic on Rudy Ray Moore was my favorite film of that year, and it like especially made me want to like dive deep into this stuff.
Okay, interesting.
Hmm.
Yeah, this is all stuff that I'm just kind of tangentially aware of, and like I said, I'm not especially qualified. I'll do my best. So
Yeah, for sure.
if you want to watch it with us, we encourage you to do that. Please get this out however you're going to watch it. It's not currently streaming any on a major streaming service that I saw. You can rent it on Amazon for $3, and that's how I did it. If you happen to own this movie, pull out your DVD or Blu-ray, however you want to watch it, get it to timestamp 0, and get ready to press play when I say now. Let me get my audio settings correct here.
It's also on Daily Motion too, if people are looking for it.
Oh, I missed that. Okay. Probably not officially or anything.
No, but I mean, it is there.
That's a way to look at it. Okay, Austin, are you ready, sir?
Yeah, I'm ready.
Let's just dive right in. Here we go. Everybody, please press play right. Sorry, 1 second. Let me get my clock. Right now.
So if this is MGM, does that technically mean Amazon owns this film now?
Oh man,
Or is this sold off somewhere?
are they gonna
Actually,
make,
no, they're probably just a distribution.
are they gonna make a crappy TV show? You know, Hulu was supposed to make a show based on this.
Really?
Yeah, and it was announced like 5 or 6 years ago, and as of like all the way to now, there's been no discussion about it since then.
Hmm.
Isn't that crazy?
There's no way that's good, right?
I don't even know what that looks like. I don't know how you make it now.
I feel like you like run the risk of two things. Either it's too parody or it's you like strip all of that stuff out of it.
Yeah, like you'd have to risk being pretty controversial to make it anything like what it is. And if it's just like this, but like you said, real watered down with modern sensibilities, I don't know what the point is.
Hmm.
I mean, unless all you took from it is like strong female black protagonist, and she's got a gun and a will to use it. That's all. That's all. That's all it is. I don't know. I mean, there's
That's
certainly
what
stuff.
I'm thinking. Like we do a lot of that stuff now with like there's the new Equalizer show and it was like Lethal Weapon stuff like that.
Well, there have been some really
Um,
successful things,
mhm. Yeah, of course. But I just don't know,
but not
how
based on
authentic it would be.
anything this like. I I don't know, like what would now be pretty controversial. I guess it was at the time too.
Mm. The main title photography was done by Anita Mann, and that is beautiful.
I don't know who that is.
Well, I don't. I assumed that was like a fake name, but I mean, I guess it could be a person's name.
Oh, you mean just
But
because
it's just
it sounds like I need a man? You think that's
yeah, because
okay?
it's like
That went over my
it's
head.
like
All
a
right,
Bond girl name. That's
that
beautiful.
that's true. Well, and I was watching this opening sequence with this opening credits, which is one of the coolest things in it. That's obviously real
Mhm.
Bond inspired, and I kept thinking, oh, is this whole movie gonna be like a Bond girl is the main character, like like if you spun off a Bond girl, and like kinda.
Mhm. Yeah, for sure. And obviously, this is the main inspiration for the Bond girl in the third Austin Powers.
Oh, yep. Mm-hmm.
No,
I
and there was a
like.
point too later on where somebody dives into a car, and I was like, "Oh, is that what Austin Powers the second one is riffing on?" And then I went, "Oh, the third one bases an entire character off of this film. It probably is."
So probably so. Yeah. I like this soundtrack a lot. I'm finding more and more that when 70s funk comes on, I really dig on it. To use the lingo of the time and of this film, but
I mean, Motown's great. I
it's
love
typically
Motown.
not a thing that I think to put on, but when I do, I'm like, oh, I should play this more often. And because of Winter Soldier, I've actually gone back a few times and listened to the Trouble Man soundtrack, but I've never watched Trouble Man. And this made me want to go back to that stuff because that's a wonderful soundtrack. I
Yeah, I should listen to that because I like Marvin Gaye quite a bit, but I don't know him super well.
Yeah, I did what Falcon told me to in that movie, and I listened to the I listened to the Trouble Man soundtrack, but I've never watched the movie, and I should have because when I wrote the rewind for Winter Soldier, I actually went in and looked at a plot synopsis of Trouble Man to see if there were any like parallels or connections with that movie, and indeed there were, and I should finally watch that. But anyway, my only criticism of the soundtrack is I kind of want more of it.
Oh, sure.
The Motown stuff kind of falls away for a good chunk of the movie, and when it comes back, it's exciting, and I think maybe you're supposed to be away from it for a while, especially when our hero is at her lowest point and she's at like the darkest possible version of a '60s Batman death trap. And and then when it comes back, it's because she's kind of taken control again, and we're in like the triumphant climax. But I could have used more of that stuff.
No, I mean, that's fair. When it's there, it's beautiful.
I was very distracted in this scene by everyone ordering a taco and by her brother calling it a taco stand, but it is clearly a hot dog stand that sells tacos.
Yeah, I don't think I've ever seen a taco stand.
That's a New York thing.
There should be more of them.
There are.
Oh, is it?
Yeah,
I guess that makes sense.
There are taco stands, but this is the first example of endearing cheapness, where the script says taco stand, but all they could find was a hot dog stand, and they just leave it all time. All you had to do was have everybody having hot dogs. I don't know why they didn't change it. And it's also odd because they had to get tacos to put in the hot dog stand. This did not remotely bother you, did it? You didn't think about this at
no,
all.
I mean, I didn't think about it at all. I just accepted it. I'm like, yeah, we're in the '70s. This is a taco stand. That's really funny.
So,
Do a lot of these stands have coffee? I mean, I guess they could.
oh yeah, especially in the '70s, you get coffee everywhere.
Yeah.
It was all about coffee. I'm surprised they're not
Fair
selling
enough.
cigarettes out of the back of that.
They probably are. There's probably cigarettes in their tacos.
Oh, I didn't catch on first viewing that one of these guys that's after her brother is one of the main bad guys all the way through the movie. I thought he was just what are you laughing at?
I'm looking at the sign, and yep, there's no tacos.
There's no tacos listed. I see. See now, Austin's
There's hot
equally
dogs.
distracted by it.
That's beautiful.
It's great.
I'm sorry. Go ahead with what you were saying. I cut you
No,
off.
you're all right. I don't know if I mentioned who requested this. It was Jeff Niederhoffer, and I wonder if he on Patreon. So thanks a lot to him. I wonder if part of the reason he wanted us to watch this, Austin, is because of the kind of tangential relationship that it has to superhero movies and the superhero formula. Because it of course, there's not even any debate to be had about whether or not this counts, but it's got a lot of things that remind me of superhero, and obviously there's a lot of Luke Cage here. I was constantly reminded of that, but she is a like revenge sort of vigilante before she's a superhero. Although it's interesting that thematically we, especially by the end, have a lot of that justice versus revenge debate that you have in Batman Begins and a million other superhero things. but I was amused by the phone call at the start when her brother calls her and she's got a gun sitting on the table and we have no context yet for anything. So it seems like she's just like this superhero chick on call that's just ready to like get in her car and go run down bad guys. And it's wonderful. And I sort of wanted her to just be like female Luke Cage, where she's just like going around the neighborhood helping people. And
Yeah, absolutely.
it isn't exactly that. It actually makes a little bit more sense than that when you find out that she's been dating this cop that was undercover, and he taught her everything he knows. And there's a clear. It's it's heightened and movie silly, but there's a clear internal logic for everything that happens.
Absolutely.
It's more
Well,
grounded
speaking of Luke
than
Cage,
it's more grounded than I thought it would be, Austin. I thought this would be a lot more cartoony than it was.
yeah, I wasn't sure exactly where it would fall in that line, but I feel like it strikes a good balance.
Yeah, like
But
it's
speaking
fun.
of the Luke Cage, oh no, go ahead, go ahead.
Sorry, I didn't mean to step on you. It's
No, no,
fun.
it's more in line with what we're talking about right now. Anyways,
Yeah, it's definitely fun and doesn't take itself too seriously. And then there are those places where it blindsides me with just how dark it goes.
yeah, absolutely. I mean, especially when she hits her lowest point, there's some messed up stuff going down.
And I mean, it's leaning real hard into the stereotypes at the time. And sometimes I think it's just embracing the stereotypes and doing them and leaning on that. And sometimes I think it's kind of complaining about them. Like, it's a movie that, especially modern sensibilities, I'm sure people would go back and real sensitive people feel like it's bordering on or totally like racist, sexist, whatever. But it's obviously massively criticizing both racism and sexism of the time, and it's got a lot of like evil white people throwing around racial slurs and things.
Yeah, for sure. No, and I mean, I think this speech that the brother gives here is a good example of what you're saying.
Yeah, contemporarily, one of the big criticisms uh, a lot of critics had, including Gene Siskel, was it's it, it's using too many of the black stereotypes of like uh, too many of its black characters have to be like running drugs and they have to be poor on the streets and all of that. Like, do you feel like this kind of thing like needs to subvert that to be like I don't know, is it doing too much of that kind of thing, or like
No, I don't think so. I mean, obviously, like it depends on the type of movie you're making, but no, I don't think so. It's I don't like it's bringing that stuff up, and criticizing it, but also just kind of playing with the genre, I think.
yeah, I think the issue maybe, and like I wasn't there, and I'm looking at everything with hindsight, obviously, but I think the issue was maybe, Austin, less the specific movie that you're looking at is putting too many black people in these kinds of situations where obviously these things were issues at the time. It's just that you also, that's not the only thing black people were doing. It's not like every single black person, obviously, we all know this. It's not like every single black person in the mid-70s was in the slums or had a criminal record or something. So I think the issue was more that you didn't have enough variety in different movies, was that these were the only roles that a lot of black actors could get. And I saw an interview with Pam Grier where she said, sometimes she's criticized for embracing those stereotypes and for perpetuating them. And she says, well, you got to look at it from our perspective at the time. This was the work we could get. And she said, we made it as we put as much like real characterization into it as we could, and try to make these characters come alive. And it's also important to note that she is a real strong female protagonist that's like the action hero. Just a few years before that became a trend with big Hollywood blockbuster action movies. This predates Alien, this predates Terminator.
Yeah. No, it's interesting that you say that because I never even really thought about that, but you're right. I guess you probably would have gotten stuff like that because obviously, like, I grew up in an era where she's already very much an icon. So, like, that's the kind of Pam Grier I think of, where it's like, oh, Pam Grier is just awesome. Like, everybody knows she's awesome.
Yeah, this was like the next movie she got right after she became like a name. And the movie that this director made right before this, critics really liked and thought that this was a step down. I forget the name of that, but this was supposed to be originally a sequel to that movie.
Oh, okay.
To Jack Hill's previous film. Somebody mentioned in the comments here. Again, I just don't know this stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'll find it.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, everyone was talking up Jack Hill a lot in the chat, and having seen this now, I want to look at more of his movies.
Oh, Coffee was the name of that movie.
Oh, I think I've heard of that. That sounds familiar.
And so apparently the reason that she doesn't have, we're never told what her job is in this movie is because they decided to make this its own thing kind of too late into the game. And so they had to write out her being a nurse, which is what she was in Coffee, and they didn't replace it with anything. So she's just... She seems to do pretty well for herself, but or decently well enough. She's just got
that makes this scene funnier.
That's true. She knows her way around a hospital room.
Exactly. She should be walking around in a nurse's outfit and talking about how she sells tacos.
But yeah, I mean, she lives in like humble enough digs, but she's not, destitute or anything.
We also get the doctors later on that I thought were detectives at first, with how they're dressed.
Oh yeah, good call.
So there's some funny stuff with that.
That's one of the more memorable moments, right? The nurse that looks down at him right
slap.
After they, yeah. This is one of those movies that's kind of odd for me to try to watch while talking over on this channel, but
yeah, you got this guy. I don't know, maybe doctors dressed like that in the 70s. I don't know, but I was like, this guy's dressed like he's a detective.
That's true. Both of these guys are. I'm just glad that we didn't have to do this with The Substance.
So you wouldn't be like, oh no.
Can you imagine what that commentary would have been like?
Oh, it would have been a beautiful commentary. We should have done that as a blind commentary.
Oh my god. That would have been insane. So I thought it was both tragic and kind of hilarious that this whole thing with the Dalton Ford character immediately doesn't pan out. Where like he gets his face like surgically altered to look like another man so that he can pass in public, and the drug cartel or whatever won't know who he is, and then he's found out immediately. Like in like 6 seconds. I didn't expect that to be like the first act plot point. I didn't think he was gonna get taken out, and that was gonna be her impetus for going on her rampage through the movie.
Yeah, I wasn't expecting that so quick either. I figured there would probably be some sort of like revenge thing, but it definitely moved faster than I expected. And I thought it would, maybe be with the brother instead.
Yeah, I don't know that. Yeah, I didn't really call that he was gonna turn on her as fast as he did. I figured he was gonna be that. In fact, I thought maybe like you said, I thought maybe he would get killed, where he would be that like tragic family member that never does the right thing and has every opportunity for change, and she keeps waiting for him to pull himself together and do the right thing, and it's never going to happen. And that's what you get, but he ends up also being a kind of plot device to get the ball rolling for the movie. And it's and I don't mean
exactly.
that in a bad way. Like it works, and I buy that he would do that, especially because he's not just like looking for the easy fix, the easy way to make money. He's also addicted to drugs, and like I think his desperation there is a big part of why he falls that far and double crosses his sister like that. I like that she goes as far as to like shoot part of his ear off.
Yeah, that is really cool. And then she like trashes his entire room. It's awesome.
Yeah, and he deserves it too.
Yeah.
That's the wake up call he's been waiting for.
You don't get a TV anymore.
You got my boyfriend killed. That your TV watching days are over. No more Sanford and Son for you. Seeing God's Will says looking like Lawrence Fishburne in Death Wish 2. Yeah,
I didn't know he was in that.
A little bit. He was reminding me of somebody. When I was watching this earlier, I can't remember who it was now.
Yeah, I've always wanted to see those movies, but I haven't yet.
Boy, this is like This is like the dark side of Sesame Street right here.
I wish Sesame Street looked like this. That'd be awesome.
Somebody is selling like Playboys on the corner of Sesame Street.
It's Elmo. And then Pam Grier comes over and like ninja kicks him. That'd be awesome.
Yeah, this soundtrack's so good.
It's fantastic.
But you do have some of your staple stereotypes and tropes, even little things in the middle of scenes, like the baby carriage. Like, you got to have that.
Well, I like too the line this guy's about to have, where he's like, I'm fighting to end the new slavery, which is drugs.
Yeah. Yeah, and I didn't expect that to pay off in the most disturbing way possible later, when she gets essentially sold into it. Because when he said that, I thought it was kind of more metaphorical than anything. It kind of reads like that, where he's like, where it's more subtle than human trafficking, and then we get it just flat out human trafficking.
I mean, that's a cool way to set that up and pay it off.
Yeah, it really is. But it became a lot more literal than I thought. Because he's talking about using drugs to control people. And that is what the bad guys are doing. But it goes a lot farther than I thought.
Yeah, exactly.
I will say, and I don't know if you agree with this, Austin, I think the female drug lord is scarier on paper than the execution with the actress. I don't think she's great.
I spent like the entire movie being like, I know this woman from something.
Oh,
It was
really?
killing me, and I don't know what it is, or maybe I don't. I don't know, but I felt like I do.
Yeah, I wasn't quite buying her performance
Mm-hmm.
as much as some other things. This did make me want to look at more Pam Grier things because I know people love her. She's actually been at Planet Comic Con here in Kansas City a number of times, I think.
Oh, it's awesome. Yeah, the big first thing I ever saw her in was Jackie Brown, which is a great movie. One of Tarantino's best, I think.
Yeah, I'm remiss with my Tarantino library. There are still several of those I've not seen.
Mm-hmm.
But I knew that there was a lot
sure.
of homage to this and that. Daniel Anstey is a name I don't recognize. Welcome. Hi there. You do movie requests? Yes, we do. $15 tier on Patreon. Patreon.com/Geekvolution. We have quite a backlog right now.
Yes.
We're working our way through it 1 week at a time. And usually we just do
a whole lot of requests.
Usually we just do discussions, and that's the $15 tier. And then for a commentary like this, that's at the $30 tier. And you only have to be on it for the 1 month. Oh, Austin, I know who he was reminding me of. He looks like a young Michael Dorn.
The brother?
No, the
boyfriend.
The boyfriend.
Okay, I'll have to look for it when he comes back. Oh, I can kind of see it. I mean, I only know Michael Dorn for being a Klingon, so I can't
that's what I was gonna say. Is you've got it
without the head thing.
Yeah, you got to know what he looks like outside of that. But
yeah,
there's a DS9 episode called Far Beyond the Stars that finally showcases him without the makeup. If you ever want to,
okay, that's fun.
Just an easy place to see him without the makeup.
Mm-hmm.
He also looks a little bit like, God, I just can't think of people's names right now, Austin. He also looks like the main guy, the main black guy from the original Mission Impossible.
For the TV show?
Yeah.
Okay, I've never seen that.
I've never sat through a whole episode, but I know what he looks like.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Anyway, I'm just full of useless and vague knowledge.
You're full of this guy kind of looks like this person, which is a great power to have. Speaking of the Luke Cage thing from earlier, though, I do think this is probably where Misty Knight comes from, right? Especially when she goes undercover and her name is Misty Collins.
Oh, maybe so, but I guess a combination of this and that previous movie where she was supposed to be where she's a nurse in that, and she's not a nurse in this, but was supposed to be.
And obviously, Luke Cage, is
sorry.
much looking at
I was thinking about. Sorry, I was thinking of Night Nurse. You're talking about Misty Knight.
Oh,
those are different characters.
Yeah.
I don't know. I guess they could. Those characters could both come from these two films, but probably not.
Yeah, I don't know anything about comic book Night Nurse. I know there's more than one. That's about it.
So, is that what you think? This character does after this movie is she goes and sets up some kind of agency to go take out bad guys, like Misty Knight.
Yeah, and she has a robot arm. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Foxy Brown, Misty Knight, it's the same syllable count.
Well, and she becomes Misty Collins later.
I think early Misty Knight has an afro, maybe. I don't remember.
I think she does. Yeah.
That's a good call. I wouldn't have thought of that.
Yeah, it's that scene when she walks up to the villain. She's like, "My name is Misty Collins." I was like, "Wait a minute," because obviously, like, I am thinking a little bit about Luke Cage in general, because I know this kind of stuff is the root of that character.
I think this absolutely could have been the start of a superhero franchise, though.
Mm. The original MCU.
Or at least a, like, revenge-laden vigilante franchise. Okay, do you buy that the brother uh, picks up on his being that other guy this quickly, especially since he's strung out? That was the thing where I kind of questioned it, where I was like, is he even lucid enough to figure this out? Yeah, I wondered that.
I'm not sure, but I was just very happy to see the like Mask of the Phantasm thing done in live action.
Well, that's the other thing is we do get a look at in one place his original face, and I thought they just shot a different actor, but his drawing on the nose makes it seem like it's actually not a whole different face. All they did was change the nose. I don't know
Yeah, I
though. I'm
mean,
not
it's
really
not
sure what we're
cool.
supposed to get from that, but just him just like drawing on the nose makes me think his face is exactly the same. They just changed that. That's not how they talk about
Uh,
it.
yeah, I mean, it's like maybe like also like around his jaw. I don't know.
I also think it's funny retroactively because of the sheer number of shows I've seen that do that trope just to replace an actor that gets written out of a show or that decides to leave Austin, where you open a movie with it where you didn't even have another actor in the first place. Like, wow, you look completely different. I don't even know what he looked like in the first place. It's also fun to have a guy, and again, kind of like fun and tragic, Austin. That you've got a guy whose whole job was being undercover, and now he has to go a different kind of undercover, where like he loses his whole life over being undercover, and now he has to live his life that way, and then he dies 5 minutes after that.
Yeah, at least he didn't have to live long, I guess.
And I thought he was the character that got the shortest shrift and was the saddest thing in the movie until our protagonist gets sold into slavery and gets raped. Because that happens.
Hmm.
And up until then, I just wasn't even sure how to feel about that, Austin, because like there's a part of me that wants this to be light enough, because I kept waiting for her to get out of it before that had any possibility of happening. I was kind of shocked it went that far. And I thought this movie was light enough. Like, it's got an obvious edge to it, but I thought it was going to be light enough that our protagonist would never get into like that deep of a situation, that she's written as being really capable and maybe too great at everything. And there's no way something like that would happen. And then when it does, I was like, well, I'm of two minds about it, because I thought I was watching a somewhat lighter movie than that. But I also like that it tells me she's not a straight up Mary Sue. Like, really bad things can happen to her.
No, and I mean, I see that as just kind of like the revenge films of this period,
Yeah.
where, especially not like mainstream things, at least at the time. We were not afraid to go to those places. So I think stuff like that kind of didn't even jump out to me like, oh man, they went that far. Like, it's almost kind of expected.
I think my problem is just not being very familiar with the genre. I had a different idea in my head of what blaxploitation meant. Like, I thought more of these were kind of like full-on parody action movies.
Oh, okay. I
Where-
mean, it probably depends what you're looking at too.
and I know
Like,
some of them are supposed to be like that. I thought more of them were that way. And
Because obviously you have stuff like Dolomite falls more into not so much parody, I guess, but almost like a like you're kind of so bad it's good territory, right?
yeah, sorry, I'm
So
reading
I mean
comments.
that's fair. No, no, it's okay.
I'm sorry, I missed what you asked me a minute ago, Austin.
Um, what I asked you, oh God, now I don't
No,
know.
that's all right. That's all right. Sorry.
No, no, it's okay.
I was distracted. I think somebody in the comments is upset that we're spoiling things with this movie while we're talking about it.
Oh no.
But
Yeah, and
yes,
I think too.
that's how we handle these. Just I mean, we always spoil things in request anyway, but we kind of expect that people have seen this already. So sorry if you're watching this for the first time. We are talking about things that are happening later. But anyway, good, Austin.
No, I was just gonna say, I think too. With what you're talking about, like going to rape and stuff like that. I think stuff like that, and you're talking about how you didn't really dig on main villain actress. I think just I've seen so many like B movies and stuff that a lot of that kind of stuff like doesn't really impact me. Like I never really thought twice about the villain actress, but like I've seen that like exact performance so many times. Especially in this period.
Well, maybe I'm taking it too seriously, but it's a credit to the movie to me that I was buying enough of these performances on a certain level anyway that I didn't think that she was quite rising to the occasion. I just wasn't sure if that casting was right.
Yeah, and I mean that's fair.
And that's relative
And
to
like obviously,
the
go
kind of
ahead.
action movie it is. Like we are looking at like some pretty over the top acting, but just relative to what we're watching.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. Like, I don't mean that to like degrade everybody else. Like, I do think everyone's given a good performance, but they all know what kind of movie they're in. I think.
Yeah, I mean it's a straight up melodrama.
Yeah, exactly.
This outfit is amazing.
Hmm. No, that could have just straight up been her superhero outfit.
Yeah, it should be. It's great. That is the opposite of camouflage.
Well, now that I said, have I ever told you about my childhood Aquaman costume?
This is Austin's favorite scene.
It is. It's great. She's trashing
She
everything.
just goes full on Michael Keaton and just starts ripping the whole room apart. Austin, I don't think you've told me about that before.
So as a kid, my stepmom had like a '70s roller girl outfit, and my dad told me it was Aquaman, and then I would wear it a lot because he'd be like, "Oh, like you can go play as Aquaman," and I think he just did it because he thought it was funny. But the top she is wearing is not far off from what it looked like, and it was
Wow.
also a belly shirt, but I was a little kid, so you couldn't tell.
Why did your parents do that to you?
I mean, it's what happens when you have teenage parents. They think stuff like that's funny. I mean, it is funny, but
I think part of the reason I was also caught off guard by how dark it gets in the third act is because of how much this is initially about like eye candy and stuff, right? Like it's supposed
Mhm.
to be, real sexy and a over the top action thing, and like I said, I thought I was watching something a little lighter than that.
Mhm.
I also think it works.
No, I think so too.
Like I'm not even complaining that it's not getting out up front and establishing tone well enough because there is certainly an edge to it. Like I feel like I'm looking at a world that could go there. I just didn't think it would
Mhm.
have the guts to go there. I guess is what I'm saying. But you make
Yeah,
a
like you
really
can tell
good
it's
point.
pretty.
Yeah, but I and we open with some real rough street stuff.
Mhm.
But
Yeah,
you're
exactly.
you're absolutely right with what you said about uh, like street level '70s movies, where we've very quickly gotten past. I don't even know if I want to say censorship, but a lot of uh, the stuff in the '60s that's just kind of watered down.
Hmm. No, I mean, there's probably like a middle ground to find because I can understand thinking we were too easy to jump to that stuff back then, but at the same time, you have the other side where there's people who don't think that should be in like any kind of story, and I don't think that's right.
No, I don't either. But yeah, to the point I started to make earlier, I always thought, like I said, black exploitation I was like always parody, and that it was black actors like leaning into the stereotypes to be tongue in cheek and kind of make fun of everyone that saw them a certain way and go, okay, we're gonna own that and take it over the top and kind of like push back on it by just doing it, but like in the most cartoonish way possible.
Hmm.
And
Yeah, and I think that's more like the Dolomite side of black exploitation.
yeah, which sounds like black exploitation parroting itself. We're like almost like it's a subgenre or a different genre of that.
Mhm. Yeah, no kidding. Yeah, something like Blackula, I guess, would probably fall into that as well.
Yeah, which I have a copy of. Somebody sent me that in the mail years ago, and I've still
Hmm.
never
Oh, that's
watched it.
great.
I guess I should.
Hmm. I've never seen the sequel. I own both, but I've only seen the first one.
Foxy Brown is really good at undercover, and I like that because again, her boyfriend taught her everything he knows, and that was his job.
Hmm.
So this
No,
is all
this
just awful and
definitely was not what
unfortunate.
I was expecting. Sorry, what?
Sorry, this is all just awful and unfortunate. Like this trap these girls fall in.
Hmm.
Like as melodramatic as this is, I found myself like roped into some of it where it got serious enough that like I could feel for some of the characters.
Yeah, and this wasn't the route I expected it to go. I expected it to be, more. Oh, now I gotta go kill everybody, and she's gonna, run in and kick ass. And obviously, we will get that, but um, I was pleasantly surprised that this is the route it took.
I was also like, oh yes, of course, her arch nemesis is going to have to be like another, strong-willed leader chick, and I like that we don't even really talk about the gender aspect of it.
Hmm. It's just like a better version of the Catwoman villain.
Dude, I had that all the way through. I kept going, why wasn't this the Catwoman movie or like something more like this? They should have looked at this stuff.
Hmm. Oh man, could you imagine if you had a spin-off Catwoman show that was like this? That'd be awesome.
And I could even see that director claiming things like this were an inspiration. It's just not in like anything
Just
like
not
it.
correct.
Yeah, exactly.
One of those people that lists inspirations, but it's really just things they like. You can't actually see it in their products.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, the main thing they have in common is just the overt sexuality
Mhm.
and like constantly putting the camera in the chest area.
Well, my headcanon now too is going to be that George Lucas watched this before he started the prequels, and this is where Padme having to be in a different outfit every scene comes from.
I thought this actress playing the prostitute with the son that gets taken away from her, I thought her performance was fantastic.
Hmm. Yeah, I thought she was really good too.
And this is where it
Did you
gets,
like her more because her son is Jason?
yeah, yeah, that gives me a bias immediately. I could I could sympathize more because her son named Jason gets taken away from her,
You were like, this prostitute's just like me.
and this that's exactly what I was thinking. It's like now I can imagine myself being in a brothel and having my life completely controlled by scary brothel lady.
I think that's the villain's name too, is Scary Brothel Lady.
Okay, I didn't notice that before. That's really funny, Austin. When they could have just framed it right in the first place, but they didn't. Did you see that? The
What's
camera
that?
is sorry. The camera is pushed in on this guy that's getting beaten up, the prostitute's husband or boyfriend
Yeah.
or whoever. And
Husband, because he says, that's my rightful wife.
when
Great.
when the yes, my rightful wife, when the much taller henchman, is that Steve, is that the guy that gets castrated at the end of the movie?
Yeah, I think so.
When he walks into frame, he's so much taller than the guy that he's beating up. The camera zooms out to get him in the frame. They could have just framed it right in the first place, but they were, oh crap, he's too tall.
At least they zoomed out. So
That's
other
good.
films of this time would not have zoomed out.
That's
You would
true.
have just been stuck with that.
It was competent enough to zoom out.
Dolomite, they wouldn't have zoomed out. It would have just been like that.
No, things like this are fun where they're competently enough made that like it's very very watchable and you can take it as, I would argue, as seriously as it's wanting you to take it. Like I think I'm getting the tone that it's trying to strike, and I'm with it. But
Yeah.
it's cheap enough that there are some fun corners that are cut.
No, like, I think this would still like classify as like a low budget B movie. It's just well made on top of that.
Yeah,
Like,
that's
those aren't inherently separate.
That's what I was trying to ask you at the beginning. Is if you put it, you keep saying B movie. I guess you would put it in that category. I hesitated at the start. I was like, is it elevated a little beyond that, or would we just think about it that way now because Pam Grier is like is like a name?
Well, for me, like I think budget wise is like what I tend to think of for like B movie too, where it's like this is definitely on a lower scale. It's not as cheap as like some other films, but like I would think that it still classifies.
It was a $500,000 budget.
Mhm. Yeah,
And-
that's probably like towards the edge.
And just by definition, I mean, it's not put out by a major studio.
Well, I think that's a big part of it too.
So I kind of like the tension with the scene because I'm just waiting for whatever Foxy Brown's going to do to this guy. You know the whole way through, because she's got some kind of a plan with this judge, and that there's no way she's actually planning on going all the way with that, especially because she brings in or she goes along with the other prostitute and is trying to save her. That's what I started to say a minute ago, Austin. That's one of the things that makes this feel more superhero to me, is we have this kind of like almost side quest where she's got to save this girl. And that's really just out of the kindness of her heart. Like, this doesn't have much of anything to do with what her actual mission is.
Yeah, I mean, I guess you also kind of have an identity thing with that, even though it's a different kind.
What do you mean?
Like, just with her being undercover, like, you have some form of like second identity.
Yeah, sure. Oh, I see what you're saying, like an alter ego.
Hmm.
So, they're not very subtly calling this judge like a horrible human being to his face, and he's a complete idiot for not picking up on that.
Hmm. Ah, he's a judge. Just because he's a judge doesn't mean he's a good judge of character.
Oh, that's true. That's true. No, the cleverest thing he does is like court puns.
Hmm. I'm gonna say, uh, like grabbing a woman that's coming out of her apartment.
Well, I was gonna say that should be his like two strike thing that makes him really suspicious of them. Like first, if Foxy Brown's getting really specific about cases he's had, and then he tries to touch her and she pushes him off of her, and like he should shut all of this down. He should he should be smart enough to know this is not going the direction he wants it to.
Hmm. Yeah, there's just too much woman to handle for him. He can't pick up on that.
This is also like that Mystique scene in First Class if it went on way too long.
Which one?
Uh, you remember when she goes to uh, the Russian general guy and I or no, it's not
Oh,
Mystique.
it's Emma
It's
Frost.
Emma Frost. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
I was conflating it with the X2
the
scene with
X2
Mystique.
one.
Yeah.
No, it's fair. Yeah,
And
right, it is
then
kind of like that.
oh, you know what? And then she does something similar in Days of Future Past with Vietnam. That's why I conflated those.
Hmm. Yeah, they do like a parallel thing to the X2 bit.
They do it three different times in that franchise. It's crazy.
Well, it's because the director was a pervert.
Now I do think she just gets lucky that all these people show up in the hallway here.
Hmm.
Like,
No, I was thinking that too. Like, it is funny that this happens exactly when they're coming, but at the same time, I guess if that didn't happen, they just kick him out.
yeah, what exactly would he have done? Because
Hmm.
it's not like he could get clothes very readily anywhere. This woman with the umbrella is hilarious.
Yeah, that is great. Shame, shame. Dan Sten said this was distributed by Roger Corman's old company.
Oh, of course it was. Sure.
Roger Corman was the man.
This is the scene that really impressed me with this actress.
Hmm.
When she has this term where she just has a nervous breakdown. And again, I mean, it's a melodrama, but for what this is, her performance is really good.
Yeah, of course. I mean, like I said, it's all about knowing your material, right?
What do you think? Yes. What do you think happens to that judge after this?
Um, he probably just goes back to work. It's the 70s.
Well, I was gonna say you have like a Daredevil level of corruption happening in the city
Yeah.
where you know that drug cartel is paying off all these cops everywhere and stuff. So it might be that it's seeped far enough into the courtroom.
Mm.
But he
I
does
could see him just being fine.
he does to all those people in the hallway look like he is trying to uh, take advantage of that woman, and without any pants on. And that
Mhm.
gets weird because it's like then they would think that this judge just runs out in the hallway with no pants and grab somebody working at the hotel.
I know it's shameful. This woman could also just be a Punisher villain.
Yeah. I was thinking that too. Or maybe not specifically with her, but I just kept thinking like the world of Punisher throughout this.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Pam Grier is in this is basically like a female Punisher.
Yeah, I mean it's not far off from like the Thomas Jane version.
At least by the time you get to the end, now you get the sense all the way through that she's not above killing.
Mm-hmm.
Like even before her boyfriend dies, like she tries to run those guys down with her car.
Oh, that can't kill you though. Just knocks you out. Have you never played Arkham Knight?
Okay, but the argument you're making means that Toxic Avenger is more realistic than this movie, and I can't have that, sir.
I mean, that's true. That movie's basically a documentary.
So it took me way too long to realize we were in a lesbian bar here. And then by the time I did, I was like, "Oh, I'm dumb. I didn't understand what was happening."
You are Homer in the one episode of The Simpsons where he's at the lesbian bar and he's like, "Wait a minute, there's something wrong here.
I've never seen
This
that
lesbian bar has no fire exit."
That's great.
Oh yeah, it's wonderful. I actually don't know if I noticed that. Like I said, I was very like at this point, like my head.
Oh, okay. People can. Are you good now?
Oh yeah, no, I'm fine. I took some Tylenol.
People complaining that this movie has too many racial stereotypes are ignoring the lesbian stereotypes because they could not have made this woman here look any more stereotypically homosexual if they tried.
I mean, you're not wrong. There's a few people in the background. Like now that you've said it, I'm really looking.
No, I think everyone in this bar is supposed to be a lesbian.
Mm-hmm. That's what I mean. Like I think that kind of goes for a lot of the people in the background. Not as much as her, maybe, but
yeah, good one. That's one of my favorite one-liners. She got her black belt in bar stools. I had this moment where I was like, oh, I'm kind of surprised that the action in the scene isn't getting bigger. And then, oh, yes, of course. They're just going to have a giant drag down, knockout fight right in the middle of that.
Well, not a drag down, lesbian town.
Oh. See, now you can't unsee it. It's like the taco shop that's actually a hot dog shop.
Well, I did notice, obviously, during this fight that they were all women, but I don't think I was like, oh, yeah, these are all lesbians. That woman is dead.
Well, she's got at least a brown belt in tables, I think, Austin.
Mm-hmm.
So apparently, the director was originally worried about, and changed his mind years later, but was originally worried about Pam Grier's wardrobe and it dating the movie too much. Like he's trying to make everything else about this seem timeless. Like you've got, and again, I'm saying this with hindsight, but it's like you look at the cars, listen to the soundtrack, look at the dialogue writing. Like everything screams the era you're in, but no, it's what she's wearing that he's worried about.
It is really funny when you see that in certain things where it's like, oh, this is the thing that will date us.
Yeah.
You go, really? Not everything else?
Then why were you cool with the Motown? I don't understand. Okay, first viewing, I did not
Motown's gonna live
notice
forever.
just how many things she hits people with.
Mm-hmm.
She's just an absolute master of her environment, Austin.
No, she's got a black belt in trash.
I wanted to say that with everything. I got a black belt in trash cans.
I got a black belt in TV.
She's so resourceful.
Yeah.
We've had some new folks
That's how you get your black belt.
jump in and out tonight. What's up, fella? Says he's got to go. This is fun. Thanks for stopping in.
Mm-hmm.
And this is when it gets dark. Or this is when it starts to go down the road of being dark. We also have stereotypical supervillain trope where she says, no, we're not going to kill her because maybe we can take advantage of her and make more money off of her. And then when by the end she's like, crap, we should have just killed her.
Whoa. She's not gonna learn nothing.
You should have killed me when you had the chance.
You should have killed me when you had the chance, evil bar lady. Whatever you called her earlier.
Yeah, what did we call her?
What was it? Like evil prostitute having lady? Evil pimp lady, that could be her name.
Prostitute having lady. Oh my god. I don't even remember. Can somebody in the comments roll the tape back and remind us what we named this woman?
Evil prostitute having lady is a Dick Tracy villain.
Yeah, it is. But yeah,
you know what I think it is with her? It's
right.
not so much that I probably don't know her from anything. She just kind of looks like Adrian from Rocky, Talia Shire, like kind of loosely.
Ooh, I don't see that at all, but
I don't know. Maybe it's just the eyes. I don't know. There's something.
Yeah, sorry, I don't mean to be contrary for the sake of being contrary. I don't see that at all.
That's okay. I didn't know the two people you mentioned, so only fitting.
I also don't know if this is on purpose, but it's there's maybe something in this is a film with a female lead, so she's a heroine in a film all about heroin.
Heroin? I mean, hopefully.
There's a lot of heroines in this movie.
Well, they're like, give her a shot of heroin. And dump her out. And then broom her fast.
Broom her fast. Speaking of, not that, but just anyway. So we go to, or speaking of stereotypes, we go to the farm with these horrible, drug pushing, rapist farmers. And the very first thing you hear is a jaw harp. Mm-hmm. Because of course it is. So she wakes up out of her drug-induced stupor and you just hear...
Needs a little more banjo, though.
There are a few places in this movie where I wasn't immediately sure if I was hearing incidental music or soundtrack.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, I think just this kind of soundtrack, like, it's easy to have that.
Mm-hmm. And that's not a complaint because it usually becomes clearer. But
Mhm.
when you have the funk stuff, for instance, sometimes it's incidental and sometimes it is just soundtrack.
My favorite one is when she's trashing the brother's room, and she like clearly grabs the radio and like smashes it over his head, and the music stops. Because I don't think I kicked in that it was incidental until that happened.
Yeah, I had the same thing.
This guy has the Green Goblin laugh.
Yeah, these guys could not be more one-dimensionally evil.
He's got a whip. This guy's like totally evil.
And he just sings about prostitutes all day.
Yeah. Well,
Like,
look how stained his shirt is. It's all gross.
it's messed up. Yeah.
He
These
didn't even put sheets on that bed.
these are the hick versions of the bad guys from The Crow
I was thinking
or RoboCop.
like hick villains from like the Goonies or was it the Disney movie with the rats?
Oh, yeah.
I keep wanting to say the Runaways, but that's not what it is.
Rescuers.
Rescuers, yeah.
Oh, you know who these guys are?
Who's that?
They're what we're initially supposed to think Tucker and Dale are.
That is true.
Like, they're actually the evil Tucker and Dale.
That is true. This guy with the mustache also kind of looks like Sergeant Slaughter, but like playing a hick.
That's true. I'm not a G.I. Joe guy, so I never would have thought of that, but that is true. Warning. Massive amounts of racism and sexism.
Usually the warning comes at the beginning of the film.
Yeah, well, I just I didn't get ahead of it in time. I was too busy complaining about hot dog taco stands.
That's how we should fix old movies. Just have somebody scream "warning"
Like,
during the scene.
but like after the offense has already taken place.
Yeah, and have like big yellow text that's like "warning."
So yeah, this was
Depictions of wrongdoing.
this is the thing that actually really surprised me because I thought we had basically a perfect can do no wrong protagonist.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, not in the
Yeah, no,
she
then it goes to
necessarily
like a
always does the right thing, but in that cathartic, like, well, we want to see her, murder the bad guys, so it's not really murder. But I thought it was kind of the intentional Mary Sue thing where she was just gonna, she's great at everything. Every scene, she, like a, more serious '60s Batman or something, like Adam West is never gonna fail. I didn't think she could fail. Then it turns back around at the end, and she knows how to work an airplane, but she doesn't actually fly it. So,
yeah, airplanes are probably easy to figure out. You just fly them. No, I was going to mention this, but Seeking God's Will kind of beat me to it. But it goes to like a I Spit on Your Grave place.
I've never seen that.
That's like another kind of revenge film of this time. That's also very controversial for that stuff.
I also kind of didn't expect.
You know this guy's evil because he has bright red bowls.
Austin, unless you can think of an example that I missed earlier on, because I didn't see it on this viewing either, I kind of didn't expect any real nudity with her. Mm-hmm. And I was sort of surprised when she's got her shirt open and we have like actual topless nudity with her. And I know Pam Grier has done nudity in things. Like I've never actually seen anything else with her, but I know I've got a couple friends that are big fans of her, and so I've heard about some of that. But we hadn't gotten into
that. That is
yet.
funny though, because that's how she's introduced. When she gets out of bed, she like pulls her top off and then walks off frame. It's very quick.
I thought she was wearing a bra though.
No, she comes back and she's wearing a bra.
Oh, okay, never mind
Because I
then.
was like, that's really funny. That's how she's introduced.
Okay, so full disclosure, I watched this
Yeah.
movie in a car on a tablet, and it was still daylight outside, and the screen was washed out a bit. So I
Yeah.
missed
Well, it's
that
kind of dark,
because
too.
I noticed the bra immediately because I had that thought. I was like, oh wow, they're getting really upfront with this, sexy fun kids, and then she walks in with a bra, and oh, she must have been wearing a bra. So like, I
No,
missed
because there's
that.
like a kind of funny cut where if you're really paying attention, you can see a cut when she walks off.
And this is why I sometimes wish I still edited my videos.
Oh no.
Dwan Powers, $5
Uh,
super chat. Thanks very much. Oh, sorry, Austin. Can I read this real quick?
yeah.
Captain Logan, have you ever watched Shaft from '71? No, I still never have. He says another blaxploitation classic. Always compared him to Luke Cage. Shaft with superpowers. Yeah, and like I'm more aware of Shaft than I am this stuff, but I still have never watched it.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, that's a big influence on Luke Cage. And no, I was just gonna say,
Famous last words right before you die. This is gasoline.
this smells like burning gasoline.
Sorry, Austin. Go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say, I did have like a ooh moment when she picks up the razor with her tongue. I don't
Yeah.
like that. That's ugh.
Well, and I was thinking, like, those guys are idiots for having a blade that close to her. Like, first of all, they're stupid anyway. So, like, I guess I kind of buy it that they're just careless.
Yeah.
And also, they're probably thinking like we're forcing her to be strung out on heroin, so she's not even going to be lucid enough to do anything. You could maybe complain that the heroin doesn't deter her very much because they give her a strong dose and then a much stronger dose, and when she wakes up the second time, she kind of just takes care of business and runs away. And I thought there might have been a plot point about her now being addicted, but she's not on it long enough, probably.
Yeah, I just don't know enough about that, and I don't know how long it's been either. Like it could have just worn off. In terms of her like not being high and that. In terms of her just not being addicted, I guess it's just like now's the time where she's got to be badass, so she kind of can't be.
I thought it was interesting how not sexually attracted Steve is to the big bad guy lady. There's not really a lot done with that. I think there's maybe this undercurrent of her overcompensating for insecurities about her own femininity and sexuality, and I think that's what the like over the top effeminate outfit she's wearing in that last scene is probably about. I just had that thought. Maybe her entire career is compensating for the fear that uh, men don't see her as feminine enough, and so she's simultaneously taking a man's role and a really evil run everything kind of man's role, but is still insecure and sad about that, and so the one place where she's wanting to look feminine is with a guy she's attracted to. There's a whole psychology happening there.
Yeah, exactly.
And meanwhile, you have this very strong female protagonist that is kick ass and take names and is also very in touch with her own femininity.
Yeah, we're not at that point yet where it's the strong female character archetype.
Yeah, but I think there is a clear character parallel there between your hero and your villain.
Yeah, absolutely.
Warning: more racism.
Warning.
I'm just gonna keep
Danger,
going.
Will Robinson.
I was a little
Oh no.
I was a little surprised that her brother's girlfriend was still with him after he got his ear shot in front of her, and he clearly like double crossed his sister. And then I thought, she's also strung out on drugs. She probably has no idea what's happening.
And she's also a bad person. That is more messed up though that they shot him and cut her throat.
Yeah, is that just a like we can't leave witnesses
They're out of bullets.
kind of choice? That would have been cleaner.
They're assholes, Doc.
Austin, what do you think about? Again, I'm really stuck on just how much darker this went than I thought it was going to. What are your thoughts on the gruesome things that it chooses not to show on screen? Like, it cuts away a decent amount.
Yeah, I wonder if I mean, you could have like a budgetary thing where like maybe they can't have like squibs with that. But also, like, I don't think of this period yet as being like the over the top violence in that way. Like, I feel like that takes over.
Yeah, we're not quite there yet. That is a late 70s, early 80s thing. I guess I more meant, do you think it's effective?
Oh, sorry. I see. Sorry.
Oh no, you're
misunderstood what you were asking.
no, you're fine. I want to talk about that
no,
too, because I also was not clear on the motivation for it. If it was a stylistic choice to let us imagine it and make it worse for ourselves, or if it's a $500,000 movie. They're not going to actually be able to show you what that looks like.
And no, I do think that is effective. I was going to mention actually that shot where she falls over and the blood's pouring down is a really cool shot.
I was really glad that they chose not to show her cutting the guy's crotch off at the end. That's good.
That's the one spot they should have had it. In horrific detail.
So I really like that she shuts down the entire justice for revenge argument by saying, yes, it's revenge, and you guys don't have to be involved in that. That's fine, but I will. That's great. I really like this meeting scene. Like her speech with how she convinces them to come out of their neighborhood is really good. Like I buy how convincing that is.
And this is Sid Haig here. The entire movie, because I saw him in the credits at the beginning, I was like, when's he gonna show up? And will I even recognize him? Because I only know him old.
Oh yeah, I don't
and then
know
he popped up, and I was like, oh yeah, there he is. Yeah, he's the big like horror guy. He's in like every Rob Zombie movie. I don't like Rob Zombie, but I do like Sid Haig. He's got a cool red hat.
He does, to match her cool yellow hat.
So if that other one was a lesbian bar, I think this is just a gay bar.
Probably not. I mean, he doesn't look like a stereotypically gay man.
He does have a red hat. No, he actually, you know what he looks like? He's got the Paddington outfit.
And I mean, he could be gay, but I think this movie would make sure you knew it. Because it's done that with everything else.
You're saying he wouldn't just be gay, he would be flaming.
Yeah, yes, that's exactly
what you're saying. I got it.
Okay, so I don't know if I buy her plan here. Retroactively, I think it's absolutely hilarious. Like, she has manipulated this situation to get her hands on an airplane to run over the bad guys with an airplane.
I mean, that's a good plan.
Or was she planning on doing something else and they showed up and she wasn't expecting it, so then she pivoted her plan? Like, I don't know why else she goes to this guy. Then why does it have to be an airplane? Like, I'm really not sure what her plan is. Some of the excerpts of reviews that I found contemporarily for this movie, Austin, were complaining about like plot holes you could drive a truck through. Can you think of any examples of that? Like, I feel like the story, again, for the heightened internal logic of this, besides what I just mentioned, which I don't think it's a plot hole so much as just like, do I buy that that's the plan she goes with? Get an airplane and run over Steve. But like, does it have big plot holes?
There's nothing that's like jumping out at me. Like, I do feel like it's pretty tight, but I could also be more forgiving, like, of that kind of stuff. I'm not sure.
And I mean, I just watched this. I haven't fine-tooth combed it or anything, but I don't know why this guy is dressed like Beetlejuice, but all right.
He's Red Beetlejuice.
This
is that original Beetlejuice too, where he's in Hawaii. That's why she's gonna get a plane.
And that's also weird that she like seduces a man to get in an airplane.
Well, now he's in like a John Deere hat and like the man with the yellow hats outfit. This guy's got like a very particular wardrobe.
Yeah, it's all based on children's storybooks.
True, because his other outfit was Paddington.
Yeah.
You're right. Yeah, I agree with Dan's Den. He says that if there are plot holes, they probably fit more in with nitpicks. I think that's probably
there wasn't
true.
anything gigantic where I just went, well, that doesn't follow. That doesn't make any sense.
Mm-hmm.
Like, everything with the brother checks out.
Mm-hmm. No, I think he's probably right. I think it is. So just, I mean, there are types of movies that I think you can just kind of nitpick to pieces.
Sure.
And it's probably that. I would think.
But they were talking about it like the story falls apart somewhere, and I just didn't see. You know, like on a Power Rangers 2017 level. Like I just didn't see that.
I guess they're like, oh, what? She's got to like fly a plane out to get them. Oh, this is falling apart.
And I'm not saying it doesn't make sense. I'm saying it's weird that she would decide to do that. Like, of all the different ways you could handle this at the end, what made her go, I know, I'll find a man with an airplane? How did she even know that guy had a plane?
Well, he looked like a plane flying man.
Or was she making it up as she went, and she just found a guy that looked interesting? Like,
maybe it was a pilot bar.
Because it looked... Maybe it was a gay pilot bar.
There you go. That's probably what the person was freaking out about. They're probably like, lesbians in a bar? I don't think so. Not in cinema.
I sure thought I noticed that out of the corner of my eye.
Tacos and a hot dog stand.
Oh, you know what? That must be what all the critics were complaining about. What a gigantic plot hole. The sign says hot dogs. Everyone's ordering a taco. 1 star out of 4. But yeah, she looked like she put on that outfit to intentionally go seduce somebody to get in this situation. And so it's like, did she somehow know that man had an airplane? Or did she just go to the first person she thought was kind of interesting to see what his deal was? And when he brings up he's a pilot, she's like, yeah, that'll work. I'll just run him over with an airplane.
That's just what it is. Maybe that is just, he brings up being a pilot and she's like, oh, I could use a plane.
I don't know if it occurred to you how oddly convoluted and specific this is. Like, that's her plan.
I was too distracted by how weirdly colorful his outfit is.
Well, hey, that's completely fair, man. A man who only wears outfits out of children's books has issues. He's got
So there's
something
Luke
going on.
Cage. He's got the band.
Yeah, I wouldn't even be surprised to see Luke Cage wear a hand around his neck.
Yeah, I could see that. Like old school Luke Cage. Luke Cage now wouldn't dress like that.
No, not at all. But I just need this guy to say "Sweet Christmas."
Oh, it'd be beautiful. I'm so sad we never got that Tarantino Luke Cage film. That would have been so cool.
That would have been more up his alley than some other licensed things he almost made. Like, I see that more than Star Trek.
Silver Surfer. I think he
That's so
he almost
weird.
made an Iron Man movie. There's like a couple on his
Yeah, that's really...
almost resume.
So, at this scene, I was like, there's no way her whole plan here is just run them down with an airplane, right? Like, they're
Her
going to
plan
run
at the
away.
beginning was to run people down with a car.
That's true. Is it a bookend?
It is a bookend.
Because I really thought they were just going to jump out of the way, and then she was going to come after him with a gun or something. But no, she just drives at him.
She's like, yeah, you're not going to get on the hood of my car.
And then I was
I don't
thinking,
think so.
well, yeah, no, this probably would work. I mean, like, how would that guy get out of this situation?
Probably by going either left or right.
Well, yeah, but she can keep chasing him. It'd be awkward, but
Yeah.
eventually she's going to win that. Unless he can get to a car.
Well, then she can just fly the plane through the car.
Yeah, I do appreciate that she doesn't take off. Because as soon as she fires the airplane up and starts driving, I was like, okay, so now she can fly plane. We're getting into Mirror Suit territory.
No, just runs that guy down. It's awesome.
Can we just talk about how awesome that car is? Not this one, but the other one. I mean, this car's okay.
This car's nice. I mean, I like 70s cars now.
Yeah.
I like the kind of like boxier look.
But this car Steve is driving.
Yeah, it is a pretty heckin' sweet car.
This is the second movie today that you've watched with a guy named Steve in it. I just gotta throw that out there.
That is true. That is true. They might even be the same Steve. I don't know. I don't know if Minecraft Steve has a P in it.
I was gonna say, is that you saying Jack Black has no dick? Is that what you're saying?
Yes, it's true. That man has no dick.
Yeah, I went.
At least that's what I heard.
Look, I went that far in this commentary, but we're about to watch a castration scene. I don't know how to not go there.
Mm-hmm.
That is a hell of a prop knife.
Sometimes you just have to go to the dick place when a guy gets it cut off, you know?
I say prop knife. This movie's inexpensive enough. That might just be a real, honest-to-God knife.
I assumed that was a real knife, but maybe it's not.
Okay, so did you have what I did? When we cut to his picture, I thought it was a casket. I thought he was dead and we were at his funeral.
Oh man, what if this movie ended like the one Punisher story where he's hiding in the casket of the person he killed, and like sits up and kills everyone at the funeral?
And then Pam Grier comes up and she just starts. That would
just
be the
starts
best.
shooting everyone.
Okay, so here's what she does. She comes. Can I pitch this? She comes out. Yes. Dual firearms, right? She's got a pistol in each hand. She shoots everybody, like corrupt cops, drug cartel people, everybody she can take out. And then whoever's left, she gets in the hearse. And she runs them down.
Over them. Oh, that's beautiful.
I didn't think I could come up with a better ending than this, but... So that's one of the odder lines that she has, and I just have to say that because of what he's doing to you, that would make him the opposite of what you just called him. I just like I don't even understand the insult there, but
I thought that was one of her best lines. I thought that was really funny.
No, it is really funny, but she says that a couple of times about heterosexual men doing like extremely chauvinist things or like really really sexist piggish things, but calls them the F word, and I'm like, well, that's the opposite.
But I mean, at the same time, like if you like women that are straight, they like men, so you're at least secondhand gay.
Is that like calling a man the B word, which is also kind of nonsensical? But we do it all the time.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't do it all the time, but people do.
No, you call every man the B word.
I thought for this budget, Austin, the bullet holes in that guy's head were pretty convincing.
No, I thought they were too, but it's also really funny. He gets one, and he's just like, and he gets the other, and then he falls back.
It's great.
I like that she whips it like a giant dagger.
She doesn't want to live anymore because she's lost Steve, you know, the man that would never have sex with her.
Well, she at least lost his penis.
See, that's accurate. She called a woman the B word. Mm-hmm. So she knows how to insult people properly.
She could have been calling that guy a British cigarette.
It'd be great if all of her insults were just nonsensical British things. It's like, oh, you lift? You garage?
I got a black belt in garage.
I got a black belt in garage. Ooh.
It's made even better that it's just the song's credit when we zoom in too.
You gotta love the you gotta love the still frame at the end. Gotta have that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely.
Austin, that movie is wild.
Mm-hmm. It's a lot of fun.
Just insane. It's insane.
Yeah, it's a dick-cutting good time if you ask me.
Oh my god. I opened the floodgates.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I gotta peel back. Barbara
God.
is played by Peaches Jones. That's also a great name.
I should not have made this possible. Austin's like, shouldn't have given me that green light. Sorry, what?
May have gone a little too far in a few places, but it's stylistically designed to be that way.
Well, you know, the airplane running people down at the end is like poetry. It rhymes.
But it does. We proved that with science.
So I got to the end of this and I immediately had two thoughts. One was, I enjoyed a lot of things in that. I don't know how I feel about it overall. I don't know if this is the thing that I would ever go back to. And then I went, but I know Austin will. Those were my two thoughts.
Yeah, 100%.
I was like, this is an Austin movie. Through and through.
100%. I love this kind of stuff.
There was no doubt in my mind that you dug that. Mm-hmm.
Oh, of course I dig it.
Did you figure I'd be down on it, or?
I had no idea what to expect. I was like, yeah. I mean, he might appreciate this, but it might also, I don't know. I had no idea.
I think I've been... I haven't watched much in that genre, but I think doing ReQuest with you for a few years and watching a lot of Best of the Worst and stuff like that has prepared me to appreciate things like that more than I would have like 10 years ago.
Mm-hmm. Now I got to show you the awesome cannibal movie. Oh no, it wasn't a cannibal movie. The rabies movie I watched like a year ago. That was a great movie.
Look, you don't want to mix up your cannibals and your rabies, okay? You don't want to mix that up.
Yeah, exactly. It's a bad mix. But one of the guys in it just straight up is Luke Cage. Like he's the headband
really?
in the yellow shirt. Yeah, and I was like, oh my god, he's Luke Cage. He's just in this movie.
That's awesome. I will have to watch Shaft at some point. I've always been curious about that.
Makira wants to see your opinion on Pink Flamingos. Now that would be a ReQuest film, specifically as a commentary.
I don't know anything about that.
You would not like that movie.
Oh no.
I thought it was delightful.
So Austin, next week we're gonna sample a recent TV show. And it's going to be a thing that I keep hearing critically acclaimed stuff about, but that you're going to go, God, why? Who cares?
Oh. Oh no.
We're supposed to watch, and I don't know how many we'll do, probably 3 or 4 because it's an animated show, so they'll be short. But we're supposed to watch the League of Legends show called Arcane. Do you know
Arcane. Yeah. No, I mean I've heard great things about it. I've just never watched it.
Okay,
I should ask my brothers about some League of Legends stuff because they're big fans of that material.
Okay. I figured you'd be like League of Legends. Who cares? Why do I have to do that?
No, it's like the only game my one brother plays. He's like obsessed with it and has been for over a decade at this point.
And that's gonna be one of those things where I don't know the material at all. So hopefully it will appeal to newcomers, okay, and that's apparently a partially French production, which is interesting.
Oh, weird. I know he's told me before that like you don't need to know the games like in any way, like it just works as a show.
I think it's just all I have written down here is Arcane. I think it's just a series.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think so.
So we will sample that. It's got a couple of seasons that I think are like 9 or 10 episodes apiece, and it's on Netflix still. I guess it ended in 24. I didn't know if it was still on or not, but I'm just looking at this now, and
I didn't know it had ended.
The dates are 21 to last year.
Oh, okay, cool.
So that's what we're doing next time. That was requested by One Reply, so we'll finally tackle his request. And in the meantime, thanks a lot for watching, everybody. Tomorrow night, Austin and I are going to do another, a much more obscure film on the Superhero Rewind commentary project, and that is Dr. Mordred with the great Jeffrey Combs.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I'm so excited. It's going to be great.
I don't know why.
Because it's an awesome movie. That director, Charles Band, I saw an interview with him.
It's hilarious.
He interviewed John Carpenter, and they're talking about all of Carpenter's movies, and then Charles Band is like, "Have you ever seen any of my movies? I made movies like Evil Bong," and John Carpenter's like, "Evil Bong? I'm sure that's a good movie."
Wow, that's awesome.
Oh, it's beautiful.
Yeah, those are two directors on a little bit of different planes of existence, really.
Mm-hmm.
Literally.
Exactly.
Actually.
But you put them together and just magic.
Anyway, thanks a lot for watching, everybody. We'll see you again real soon. And if you would like to make a request, again, I always say this, but we've got a backlog. But if you want to get something in there, it'll be a few months. Patreon.com/geekvolution. $15 tier gets you a regular review and discussion. Now, we go a good long time on these for just that $15 tier. And it's a movie, or we'll sample a TV show, or we'll do up to 6 issues of a comic series or a graphic novel or something. And $30 tier, you can get a commentary like this one. And you can also do a commentary for the Superhero Rewind commentary project if you would prefer to do that and knock out a superhero movie before we might otherwise do it. Thanks for watching. We'll see you real soon. I was Captain Logan, and this was Austin the Day Ghost.
Have a good night, everybody. See you tomorrow for the magic.
Good night, folks.